This October, the wrong station celebrates a decade of dread. You can read the show notes to discover terrible new ways to celebrate with us. Today's episode, Heat Rat, is written by Alexander Saxton and performed by Anthony Botelho. Grease Monkey. Before the race, she's covered in black oil, jumpsuit folded down, tablet jacked into the onboard deck, still tinkering with the engine of her Kipsilon. Heat Rat. Before the race, he's sitting naked in a freezer, bent over his knees in the dim blue light, feeling his pulse slow down, towards zero. Sicknet. Before the race, he's sitting outside the control room, drinking a small cup of something strong and black. The lights are all dull gold. Then, it's time. The Grease Monkey vaults into her cockpit. She smooths short hair, leaving a black smear across white blonde. Only a few bays down, the Heat Rat walks out to his Kipsilon like one of the dead. Blue-lipped, so cold his joints all want to lock up. He's a whippet, nothing but wires under his brown skin, his beard and hair all shaved, as slaves have been since far antiquity. Up in the control room, the signet settles into red leather. All lights have dimmed to red. He looks like what he is, a scion of racing royalty. He's tall, still lean and strong, though his racing days have passed. All eyes in control turn to him. He finishes his drink and sets the little cup aside, then leans toward a microphone. Ready? Some clicks away, the soft voice crackles in the Heat Rat's helmet. The answer comes through chattering teeth. Ready. Then the lights in the bay turn from red to amber, and the Heat Rat thumbs a switch, and a great energy begins to build. You can feel it behind him. Not the heat, not yet, but the great potential like a coming storm. Through his helmet's scrubbers, he shouldn't be able to smell anything, but he's sure he smells ozone. He's back in the factory guts. He's crammed into small spaces, and the machines all scream around him. He can barely breathe. Still with me? That soft, aristocratic voice in his ear. The Heat Rat grunts. Then the lights turn from amber to green, and he rips the throttle, and the acceleration is like getting hit by a truck. Up in control, they watch bright slivers hurl themselves out into space. He's slow off the mark, says Tactics, but the Signet lets a hand drift out toward him. No, he isn't. She's just faster. We expected this. Tactics grunts. He's older, bald as a brown egg, but thatched at the edges with grayish-white. He's a holdover from the old days, before the Signet took over from his father. His hands have old calluses. She's got the better bird. Signet smiles at the screen. Doesn't matter. We're a pilot-driven team. 25 Kipsilons now howl silent through the black. The nebula's reflection lights them from underneath like minnows darting past a sunken floodlight. 25 teams, 2 sides, the grays and golds. First run, says Tactics, as a burst of gas thrusts the lead racer down toward the cloud. You'll need to slow. But the Signet says, he's fine. She's out in front when her Kipsilon punctures the gas cloud, and everything turns red. The turbulence shakes her like a dove in a dog's mouth. but she rips the throttle anyway, grinning as all that friction makes her heat spike. She knows the Kip can take it. She knows she's got the best bird out here because 3 generations of the League's best engineers have made it the best. And she's one of them. Now there's enough atmosphere inside the cloud that you can hear the shriek of wind across the chrome. It's music. She watches her heat climb, feeling cool, controlled inside her flight suit. She knows the other Kips are picking up as much heat from slowing down as she is from speeding up. On her HUD, the red arrows are all falling behind. All. She feels a sudden surge of adrenaline. Except for one. He screams through the cloud, and the Kip shakes like it's about to tear itself apart. The bird's practically antique. Top flight design from when Linier Arklow was an engineering team. And that was nearly 15 years ago. Hold on to her, says the Cygnet's cool voice. And he does as he's told, even as the heat soars and the coolant system veers from yellow into red. It's too early in the race to see that color. But he keeps his shoulder locked, his elbow anchored to his hip, the acceleration helping him to hold his throttle back. And on the concourse, the crowds are losing their mind as he gains on her. Inside her cockpit, the grease monkey begins to sweat. Still smiling, she smoothly changes gear, forcing him to run his machine ragged just to keep pace with each acceleration. Inside the heat rat's golden Kip, the cabin temp has crept past 30°C already. It's just the first of 4 runs in the race. Then the 2 Kipsilons, one gray, one gold, rip from the gas cloud and shatter the dark with coruscations from their chrome. He has to vent, says Tactics. He can take it, says the Cygnet. His engine can't. He has to vent right now. But even at the risk of stall or burnout, even watching the thermostat climb from red to black, the Cygnet takes a slow moment before he leans forward and tells the microphone, "Vent." With a grunt of relief, the heat rat slams the yellow release. The tank of coolant erupts within the frame of his Kip, belching a long plume behind him, catching heat from the exposed engine and ripping it off into space. Lesser alloys would crack from the sudden change of temp, from glowing hot to hoarfrost in less than 10 seconds. The shriek of the engine fades to a hum. Inside the cockpit, the thermostat stabilizes, but does not fall. "Then complete." "How are you doing in there?" asks the Cygnet. "Fine, but we're already running hot." "That's okay. You've killed half the competition. You're used to this. You've got her scared. And maybe he has, but she hasn't vented yet," the heat rat says. Cygnet glances up at the readouts. It's true. She's still up ahead, running on all 3 coolant cylinders. Running fast. "She's bluffing," says the Cygnet. "She'll have to vent before the second run." But in the cockpit of the lead gray Kipsilon, the grease monkey's teeth are bared beneath her visor, and she slams her steering jets and rips the throttle back. "Holy faith," says Tactics. "She's doing it again." Out on the concourse, it's pandemonium. You don't accelerate into the cloud. You damn sure don't do it twice without a vent between. This is engineering. This is daring. This is Kipsilon racing. Back in control, Cygnet leans forward. "Stay with her." In the gold Kipsilon, Heat Rat's fist is shaky on the throttle. "There's still 3 runs. If he accelerates into this one, he'll have to vent for sure, leaving 1 tank of coolant for the back half of the race. Stay with her." The Heat Rat doesn't answer, but on the concourse, crowds thunder as he swoops into the second cloud. He's going to burn out, Tactics warns. Cygnet is just gazing at the screen. She will first. "In that ship? Are you crazy?" He just has to hold her. She won't survive when it hits 40 Celsius inside. She'll have to slow. By the time she reaches 40, he'll reach 60, if his engine lasts that long. The Cygnet barely seems to hear him. His fingers twitch, as if at the throttle of a Kipsilon. He can take 60. The other crew in control glance at one another, Tactics stares, his eyes bulging. That's your plan. Expose your pilot to 60 and hope he pulls through. You're a good tactical, Thom, the signet tells him. You know Kips, and you've won your share of races. From out here. He jerks his chin at the silver darts on screen. But I've done it, from in there. I understand heat. And I don't care how good a grease monkey you are, and I don't care if you're the kind of signet who's flown Kips since Daddy bought you one at 3 years old. It's heat rats who are the real pilots. That's your theory, is it? The first 2 Kipsilons are long since vanished into reddish cloud. Up on the screen, the rest of the pack angles down to approach their second run. That's my theory. Inside the gray Kipsilon, alarms are singing, and the grease monkey's blonde hair is plastered flat inside her helmet. She's not smiling any longer. 35, she thinks, or maybe more. It's hard to read the thermostat through blurry sweat. 35 Celsius is worse in a Kip than on the surface. The humidity's too high. Wet bulb temps can kill a pilot as early as the mid-30s. But she holds fast. She's a damn good pilot and a damn good bird. And when her Kip bursts into open space, she slams the vent, and coolant streams behind her, and the life support roars in her ears, and the temperature begins to drop. 1 degree. 2. But it feels like an Arctic wind. For a moment, her smile begins to return. But then she glances at her HUD, and the bottom goes out of her stomach, because that gold arrow is still right behind her. How hot must it be inside that fucking antique? What hell mine or satanic factory did they drag this heat rat out of? Suddenly, she feels a strange fluttering in her chest, and is surprised to discover that it's fear. Did he vent? She almost screams into her mic. Did he vent? Then the voice in her headset calms her. Check your HUD. Don't get twisted up. The steady voice of an older woman. Principal. She's cool. Aristocratic. He's vented. 2 tanks down, 1 to go. With 2 runs left. Copy. Her relief almost bubbles out in laughter. You'll have to slow on one of the next 2 runs. Doesn't matter what sort of freak he is. His engine core won't last. Coming up on the 3rd run now. Principal's voice draws her back to the moment. She takes a deep breath and lets it out slow, feeling her shoulders relax. All right, she tells the microphone. Let's show them what they're dealing with. Her hand is iron on the flyer's yoke as she puts herself into a spin. It's showboating, but the G's don't faze her. And out on the concourse, the gray supporters roar as she accelerates a 3rd time through the cloud. Back at control, Tactics watches the spin and rips his headset off. It's over. She's taunting us. She knows we can't keep pace. But the signet is sitting close to the microphone now. Something intimate about the way his body curls around it. Stay with her. It doesn't matter, Linor, Tactics says. You'll lose her on the next run anyway. But on the concourse, gold supporters bay as the second Kip bends into a spin and hurtles down into the heaving cloud. Only a few have gone silent now, thinking about what it means for the pilot. The belly of the cloud is whirling, red and black. Tell me he's slowing down, Grease Monkey says. Her breath comes thick. The Kipsilon shudders. Even her supremely tuned reactor is whining now. Her dials are turning over red to black. He's holding on to you, says Principal. Don't let up the pace. Her instruments all scream. I need to vent. Hold off on that. Don't let him bait you. Save your coolant for the final run. She's feeling dizzy, nauseous now. Enough of this. She slams release, ignoring cool admonitions, and her engine drops from black to red to amber gold. As the air chills, she breathes deep and wrenches back the throttle, hurtling from bloody cloud and out into the black clarities of space. But the gold Kip is right behind her still, trailing a cloud of brilliant gas as the heat rat vents his final cylinder of coolant. No one on the concourse makes a sound as the two ships race, wingtip to wingtip, toward their final run. Back in control, the room is silent. The crew's all watching their pilot suit thermometer stabilize. He's north of 50 Celsius by now, and that's after the vent. It's a miracle you even killed him. He hit 60 on that last one, and he's got nothing left for the final run. He can take it. She's still got a full cylinder. It'll be a breezy 29 inside that bird of hers. The Signet stares at the screen, chewing his lip. He can take it. The Kip can not. Look at the color on that engine. He's got enough momentum now. He can ride right through if it burns, and beat the rest of the pack, maybe. Tactics gestures at the screen. The other 23 are just now rising from their second run. But she's barely stopped accelerating since the light went green. He can beat her. The Signet's still staring at the readouts, as if trying to change the numbers there by force of will. He can win. Tactics says nothing. There's a long silence as Signet looks down, and the neck-and-neck lead Kipsilons barrel down toward their final run. Then he leans toward his mic. Abort. Pull back. Cruise through, he tells the Heat Rat. We've lost this one. There's a cracking silence from the mic. Then the Heat Rat's voice comes through. I'm staying with her. When Principal tells her the same thing, a feeling of dread washes over the grease monkey. You're kidding me. The pulse is like a piston in her neck. She's running through steam jungle, and no matter how fast she goes, a predator is ripping through the trees behind her. Stay calm. One moment. She ignores that order and lets panic run away with her. It's too hot. Her flight suit's gray polymer is smothering. She slams the last vent without clearance and howls toward the cloud, feeling her breath slow as the thermostat drops from amber gold to yellow-green. Then the needle stops, and it's still too hot, and the heat is pushing in and pressing in and crawling down her throat. We have rough numbers from our quants, says Principal. They tell me his cockpit has to be north of 65 inside. Celsius? Can humans even survive that? Not for long. He'll have to drop. He simply must, even if he can grid it. His engine... Suddenly, the cool voice falls silent. What is it? She tries to keep her voice controlled, but when the only answer is a hesitating breath, she fails. What is it, Principal? And after a moment, that cool voice informs her. He's venting. What? Panic fully takes her over. She doesn't know what to do. She's ripping through red clouds at what feels like half the speed of light, and the heat alarms are ringing in their syncopated chorus, and her heart is pounding, and her mouth is dry. How can he be venting? He's used all three already. The frontmost Kipsilons hurtle from the nebula a final time, with Golden in lead, and on the concourse all the lights turn gold, and the crowd howls in exultation. And in control there's silence as they slowly rise in awe, watching their flyer rip across the finish zone ahead. I can't believe he did it, says the Signet. Then he tries the microphone. No voice answers at the other end. When they gather up as hurtling Kipsilon, they find the heat of the burnt-out core has conducted through the ship and burnt him through, burnt him black like charcoal. His hands are scorched tight on the yoke. But it isn't the heat that's killed him, not according to the medics. It's vacuum. Crowds gather in the launch bay as the medics bring his body through. All the pilots and mechanics, all the race teams, paying their respects. Later, in Linur Arklow Control, a smaller group of former rivals shared drink and silence. It was his own atmosphere then, The monkey says. That final vent. That's what they think. Signet stares down at his flat champagne. Not as good as coolant. And good enough, apparently. She asks, how hot was it? At the end. He shrugs. 70 degrees. 72, says Tactics from the corner. But he'd have died cold when he let the vacuum in. She closes her eyes and remembers the destroying heat of that final run. She imagines the relief of dying cold. Was he aware? The Signet sets aside his small glass. We're not sure. His vitals suggest he might have been just conscious as he crossed the finish zone. Probably that was the last thing he experienced. That feeling that he'd won. She looks out at the viewport. Black stars beyond. And that's comforting to think, he tells her. Isn't it? The Wrong Station is made possible with the generous support of our listeners on Patreon. Join us today at patreon.com/thewrongstation for bonus episodes, behind-the-scenes content, ad-free listening, and additional goodies celebrating our decade of dread. The Wrong Station is co-produced by Alexander Saxton, Anthony Botelho, and Jacob Duarte Spiel, with music composed and performed by Alon Citrin, and arranged for the viola and performed by Viola Schmidt. You can follow us on social media at The Wrong Station, or email us at thewrongstation@gmail.com. And until next time, thank you for listening.